Hi, my name is Eric Fitz, Director and co-founder of Bethlehem Farm. On behalf of the Board of Directors, my fellow caretakers, and all who helped plan this event, welcome to this year's benefit celebration, which is themed Welcome Home. We gather as Bethlehem Farm in the Greenbrier River Valley on the traditional land of the Mound Builders and later of the Monoton and Satsoyaha Yuchi, past and present. And we honor with gratitude the land itself and the people who have stewarded the land over many generations. Honoring their legacy compels us to learn how to be better stewards of the places we inhabit as well. Tonight, we also celebrate the 18th anniversary of Bethlehem Farm. Hard to believe. The idea for Bethlehem Farm became a reality with the donation of the Catholic Worker Farm property from the Kerwin family on December 8th, 2004, the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. Our mission is, oh wait, I know this. Can I get a little help here?
Bethlehem Farm
is a Catholic community
in Appalachia
that transforms lives
through service with the local community and
the teaching of sustainable practices.
We invite
volunteers to join us in living the gospel cornerstone
of prayer, community, simplicity, and service. Okay, thanks, team. Bethlehem Farm 2009. That was very helpful. Got me back on track. So we chose Welcome Home as the theme for this year's benefit since it is central to our faith and mission. Reminds us of our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, and broadens our hope for the future. If you've joined us at the farm before, you'll remember the warmth and maybe also the surprise of being welcomed home to a place you've never been before. But it doesn't take long for the spirit of welcome home to become evident and tangible. We often see newcomers joining in the practice of welcoming home shortly after their arrival.
And we're so excited to welcome you home virtually. This year, we're coming at you live from the Hub Cafe in Lewisburg. So thanks to High Rocks for creating this space and letting us use it. And thank you also to Bee Farm board member Brenna Davis with Ignatian Solidarity Network, who is behind the scenes keeping us on track and guiding us through the live stream. We have quite the night prepared for you all. My name is Molly, and I've been a caretaker for the last 2.5 years, welcoming others home as house manager and finding my home in the garden. And throughout the night, you'll be meeting several new faces, both human and non-human. You'll hear stories from homeowners we've worked with over the past year. You'll hear from volunteers and summer servants about the highlights of their experiences. And you can see the program that was emailed to you today or check out the YouTube video description if you're wondering what's coming up next. And if you gave a suggested donation when you registered for this evening, you were entered into a raffle to win 4 door prizes. Don't worry, we're not actually going to send you a door. Eric, why don't we pull the first one right now as a welcome home gift? And our first prize is going to be a fair trade organic cotton Bethlehem Farm t-shirt. I'm going to pull.
Okay, here we go. And the winner is Kristen Sherman.
Kristen, congratulations. You can email us at transform@bethlehemfarm.net, your preferred size and address, and we'll get that to you. So, by the way, if anyone is experiencing any technical difficulties at home, you can shoot us an email at bethlehemfarm@gmail.com, or you can call 681-238-3446, and we'll do our best to help you out.
Okay, great. So why are we here again?
I don't know, that's a good question.
Raising money, that's right, and to carry out our mission. So we've set a goal to raise $25,000 through this benefit to go towards the purchase of a parcel of the Mann Farm property. As we seek to expand the meaning and depth of Welcome Home, this addition to our property will be a physical manifestation of the more expansive practice of Welcome Home we seek in our mission and world. Now, due to your generosity and spirited bidding so far in the auction, heading into the evening, we've already raised $12,600 towards this $25,000 benefit campaign goal. Pretty good. Tonight, there are stepwise fundraising thresholds that when we hit them, will unlock special videos that I guarantee you will not want to miss out on. The first special video will be unlocked after we've raised our next $1,000. Now, teaser, we dug into the archives and found a home video of a debate between 3-year-old Isaiah and a 24-year-old Richard Story, a caretaker at the time. Let's get there quickly, and there may be a home video at the end of the broadcast that you don't want to miss, so you might want to stay around. Now, also, to make it a little easier for you, as our little welcome home, the board and caretakers have generously put together $7,500 in matching funds that we can utilize to match any donations, pledges, or increased auction bids given during the event. Any pledges to initiate or increase monthly giving will unlock matching equal to the amount that we'll receive over the course of the next year. So that's really impactful. We'll be tracking our progress throughout the night with this schematic right here. And what do you think, Molly?
It's pretty garlicky. I think it's
Yeah.
pretty great.
All right, so as you can see, we've made a lot of progress. We've got a little bit to go, and hopefully we can get there. So, Molly, you can bring us home.
Great. Well, we want to thank you all in advance for walking alongside us in fulfilling the farm's mission and for your generosity tonight. So please join us as Father Joseph from St. Patrick's Catholic Church in Hinton leads us in the cornerstone of prayer.
Good evening. I am Father Chintran, SVD. I am currently the administrator of St. Patrick in Hinton, West Virginia. I have visited Bethlehem Farm 4 times. This week, we celebrate the second Sunday of Advent. In today's collect prayer wrote, Almighty and merciful God, may no earthly undertaking hinder those who stayed in haste to meet justice, but may our learning of heavenly wisdom gain us admittance to his company. Lord Jesus, come into our hearts as we prepare to celebrate Christmas. Enlighten our hearts so that we can convert and return to you. We are also preparing to celebrate the 18th anniversary of Bethlehem Farm. May God bless the people who work in the camp, especially those who are prepared for this day. Lord Jesus, help us to follow the example of John the Baptist and be enthusiastic about the mission, ready to commit ourselves to you and the mission is given. May this Advent we have a new soul. Thank you to sincere repentance deserve to celebrate the coming Christmas. Amen.
Thank you, Father Joseph, for the beautiful prayer. Hi, everyone. I'm Jenna, and before I go any further, I'd just like to say we have a silent auction currently taking place at 32 Auctions, which many of you are already participating in. I'd like to announce that the first auction table is closing at 8:50, so get your bids in right now. We just dropped a link in the chat, and you can use this QR code with your phone. Remember to check out all the items on page 1 and 2. We wouldn't want you to miss anything on that second page. So with that said, I am one of the newest caretakers here, and I'm very thrilled to be here tonight. I was welcomed home mid-September. I'm passionate about environmental science and the way it ties into the cornerstone of simplicity. I'm excited to bring that passion to my role of sustainability coordinator, to the Green Neighbors team, and to the garden team. I'm also thrilled to be a home repair site leader and helping out with other administrative duties. In my free time at the farm, I love playing Canadian music with other caretakers, volunteers, and community members.
Hi everyone, I'm Casey, and I was also welcomed home in September, and I'm really excited to be part of this community. Jenna and I will be giving you some of the nuts and bolts for this evening for how things will run tonight. But first, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm from Roanoke, Virginia, so not too far from here, and I'm always exploring themes of pilgrimage through art. So far, I've learned a lot about home site leading through installing drywall and repairing roofs, and also from canning peaches and processing basil, I've learned a lot as a house manager. One of my hobbies, though, that I'd love to share with you is collecting paint samples at the hardware store. So I collect these and they inspire a lot of the paintings that I like to make.
Speaking of which, you can buy some of those paintings on our live auction.
Exciting. And while you're waiting, we have some really fun games for you. You should have been emailed a few bingo cards before the event. And hopefully by now you've picked a card that you can be filling out as the night goes on. Listen really closely so you can be one of the first 2 people to drop the word bingo in the chat and win a prize. Again, be one of the first 2 people to drop your name in the chat. Additionally, keep your ears peeled because throughout the benefit, we will be name dropping 15 of our beautifully named garlic strains. And I'll even give you a hint. A lot of them are shades of red. So you probably wish you also collected paint samples. When you hear a strain mentioned, check to see if it's on your bingo card and check off that bingo square. For example, one of us might say, if I missed any of the strains, I'd be so embarrassed, I think my face would turn a deep, deep Romanian red.
That's so funny, Casey. Okay, why don't we announce the next door prize winner?
Oh, goody. And I will draw a picture of it.
Like we can draw the next prize winner.
Like this? A drawing?
No, like the door prize winner, Casey.
Oh, right. The winner will get a prize. Well, congratulations to Joshua Bleish. You can email us at transform@bethlehemfarm.net with your address, and we'll get you your lovely shower scent sampler.
You'll be smelling like a Nootka rose in no time.
We've got 3 more drawings for door prizes coming up. I'll be sketching with excitement as we await the next big reveal.
Casey and I weren't the only friends the farm welcomed home this year. We also welcomed home many week-long volunteers and summer servants, both new and returning. Summer servants joined us over the course of the summer, with the average stay being just over 4 weeks. We had a total of 268 volunteers and summer servants this year, serving for a total of 7,584 hours and investing $227,520 in labor into the surrounding Appalachian community. That's a lot of donated time, and we couldn't have done it without you.
So awesome. Why don't we listen to some of their stories?
I had originally moved to West Virginia to be a ski instructor. I had a big dream of what a ski instructor was going to be. I was going to go skiing every day. It was going to be a great time. But it turned out not to be what I expected. I had to teach a lot of little kids, and for me, that was very stressful. So the whole winter for me was not what I expected. It was a very stressful time. So when I found Bethlehem Farm in West Virginia, I was excited to try something new, get a new experience, but I was also a little bit nervous.
So I took quite a big leap coming somewhere that I had never been before, committing to spend 6 weeks there in an unfamiliar part of the country. But
I didn't know anyone I was coming with, and I was super nervous.
When I walked in the door at Bethlehem Farms, everyone came running up, gave me a big hug and said, "Welcome home." And at that moment, I knew I was in the right spot.
I will never forget my first hug from a summer servant saying "welcome home" and that great feeling of welcomeness I had.
Pretty instantly, like very comfortable. It was just really clear that everyone there had so much joy and so much love for God, so much love for each other, and I was walking into a really special place.
From the onset, we bonded as family, and thus dispelling my initial concern about memorizing names of everyone I met.
I loved being able to welcome other people home. It helped me feel welcomed home. When people came back from long days at their sites and knew that they had food waiting for them and that their work was seen and valued, it made me feel like such a part of the community.
One cornerstone that I really grew in the most while being at Bethlehem Farms was community. I really had a lot of growth in meeting new people, whether that be at the farm or in the local community.
Every person I met offered a unique set of gifts and talents to make the farm a piece of heaven on earth.
And I loved feeling so in touch and having my hands in the dirt. It was amazing, and it made me feel so welcomed into creation.
And the joy was just so evident in everything that people did, whether that was like singing songs around a fire or like all sorts of like little ways of finding fun things to do and like tiny little things. That game of capture the flag one night, that big game that we played, was one of my favorite memories of the whole summer.
Looking up at the beautiful stars, cooking a meal with people and eating it together, all at the table together.
And it was just so clear as well in the work that we did at the farm. Like, people really enjoyed the time that they relaxed in the evenings and on the weekends, but people took their work seriously, and I could tell that it was something very meaningful to everyone.
With each experience from the work side, interacting with community residents, getting to know caretakers, the service trip truly became 40 of the best hours of my life.
Whatever it is that we were doing out in the garden, in the kitchen, on a work site.
Having a great conversation with a prayer partner.
We were sitting and talking in the prairie or walking around the farm.
Building community, learning about the garden, planting stuff, learning more about how I can live a sustainable life. All these really made me find and realize that home is in the simple things.
That people, like, even if it was difficult sometimes, found so much joy in what they were able to do and what they were able to contribute. So I think ultimately what made me feel welcomed home was the joy, and I just felt like I was a part of a really special community and a special group of people this summer, with the caretakers and the summer servants and everyone who came in, who helped me feel joyful and helped me spread that joy just as they were spreading it to me.
Then when I was leaving, I had about a 14-hour drive ahead of me, and I got just past the gate and my tire was flat, and I had the entire community come together for me. It was amazing. I had people change my tire to the spare and offer me food for my drive home and offer up their houses or their family's houses for me to stay in. And it turned what could have been a really negative experience into such a positive experience.
One observation, I believe if I'm not the first, is that I felt a closer connection to God on the farm. The serenity and love from everyone reaffirmed my hope in humanity and intensified my faith in God. I pray that I'll build on these closeness with God as I journey through life. Thank you for providing a wonderful place where God speaks through many things.
We are so grateful to the volunteers and summer servants who generously donate their time towards the mission of Bethlehem Farm. Before being caretakers, Jenna and I were both summer servants, and the applications for both are open now. You can go to our website, www.bethlehemfarm.net, which was just dropped in the chat, and submit your application. And while you're on the web, you might consider making a donation to the purchase of the Man Farm property to support our physical retreat space. You can scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link dropped in the chat.
We'll hear more from Eric next about the farm property and about a few people who were among the first to welcome Bethlehem Farm home. But first, I've got to finish installing a Russian red roof.
All right. Jenna, you think that's a Russian red roof? Looks a little bit more like Enchelium red to me. Before we start here, I'd like to remind everyone that Table C is closing at 9:05 Eastern Time, so be sure to get your bids in. You can scan a QR code, which I think is going to appear right there. Or I think there's a link in the chat, so it'll drop in there. So you can scan that QR code or click on the link to go to our auction. Last time I looked at it, there was some pretty good deals still out there. So one of the foundations of the Bethlehem Farm community is strong relationships with neighbors. So it was with heavy hearts that we said goodbye this past year to our nearest neighbor, Betty Mann. Betty and her husband, Bill, meant a lot to us, and we'd like to share some recollections of them in this next segment. We have many cherished memories of Bill and Betty Mann. Every week, I would take my Sunday run along Clayton Road, checking in with the Hypes family and stopping in to visit with Bill and Betty, and later with just Betty. There were no short visits, and it was always too soon to be heading for the door. They were quick to offer a meal, or whatever hard grub, as Betty would call it, they had on the stove. More likely, there were powdered donuts offered to everyone by Bill. The first time I met Bill Mann, I was heading out for a run in the early summer of 2005, and he stopped me on the driveway. He wanted to know if I was the boss here. I gave an ambiguous answer, and he said something to the effect of, "Well, we're neighbors, and do you know what that means? It means I'll do for you, and you'll do for me." There were many lessons over the years from Bill and Betty about what neighbor meant. It could mean pulling our tractor out of the icy driveway ditch, or sharing hay bales for our animals in return for help baling the hay on hot summer days, with Betty right there next to us, hefting hay bales onto the hay cart. It could mean Bill, and later their son Jim, coming over with his backhoe to bury our dead, and keeping things lively with his quick wit and endearing nicknames for people. Each caretaker knew they were finally at home when they received their nickname from Bill. It could mean long conversations on Sunday afternoons. Sometimes it meant roof work, whether on their barn or replacing the roof on their house down in Talcott, or putting a new roof on the old house on the farm. It could mean being called over one evening to help extract a stillborn calf that came out the wrong way. Since 2011, it has meant tricks and treats with our kiddos at Halloween and Christmas visits, with Betty always engaging them playfully, whatever age they were. Bill and Betty were always generous with their land. Our groups had an open invitation to enjoy the view from what we refer to as Bill Mann Hill. Almost every group we host has been up Bill Mann Hill for the Elijah story and meditative time. It is sacred ground to us, a place where many people experienced welcome home in a profound and visceral way. A place that one couple even chose for their marriage proposal. And a hike up the hill, whether for prayer or a sledding outing, often meant a visit with Bill and Betty on our way home, perhaps even with a cup of hot cocoa to boot. Being neighbor always meant that whoever came through the door of their trailer, whether a new caretaker, a volunteer just in for the week, or a stray cat for that matter, each was treated like neighbor, like family. Bill and Betty loved living on this hilltop, where Betty would often be found mowing, digging weeds, or raking chestnut husks, while Bill was tending cattle or putting up hay. We are blessed to have been a small part of their story. Bethlehem Farm will not be the same without them, yet they will always be with us through their loving hospitality and their connection to this land. One lesson Bill and Betty taught to anyone paying attention was how to care for the patch of earth with which we are entrusted. Each day as I awake, I look from my bedroom window out on a beautiful sunrise across the land they cared for so well, and I think of them and how much I miss them. And I thank God for the gift of knowing them and for the beauty of this place they loved so deeply. This year, we were given the opportunity by the Mann family to purchase the portion of the Mann farm that's closest to us, and we're ready to give an update on that process. After reaching an agreement with the family, we've recently secured the nearest 42.5 acres of the Mann farm, adjacent to our original 48.5 acre Bethlehem Farm property. In addition to this property being a living memorial to Bill and Betty's legacy, it is also critical to the future of our ministry. Part of our driveway crosses the property, and we did not own a formal right-of-way, so our main access to our property is secured permanently by this purchase. We share a property line. The fence line between the original Bethlehem Farm and the neighboring property is less than 15 feet from the caretaker residence. The viewshed of our original property includes large portions of the neighboring property. The nature-oriented, peaceful retreat experience that people have come to love at Bethlehem Farm relies in part on the neighboring property remaining undeveloped. Picture a few houses or a junkyard or a motorbike track going up along our driveway or out in the field, and consider how that might change the experience of peace at Bethlehem Farm. Access to scenic views for the Monday hike. The new property has some beautiful views of its own, and with permission from a neighbor, we will be able to enjoy a beautiful view and the meditative atmosphere provided by a mountaintop experience now that we have direct access to Tom Blake Road. Increased opportunities to engage with creation and our neighbors. Just as with the original property, there are special places on the new part of the property, such as scenic views, springs, wetlands, wooded glens, and intermittent streams, full of life and ripe for conservation opportunities. We also may be working with a neighbor to lease out the pastures, so the land can once again benefit from grazing cattle, which can help build soil and sequester carbon if properly managed. Well, I bet you haven't seen a fundraising appeal before that doubles as a lullaby with my too soothing voiceover, but that's a gift to the parents in the crowd. An update has been a long time coming. In June, we set a goal of raising $171,000 to purchase 36 acres of the neighboring property. However, in the end, an even better arrangement became available to us, and we purchased 42.5 acres with net expenditures totaling about $188,000. So that'll be our new and final campaign goal, which rounds down to about $4,000 an acre. We won't make the math any more complicated than that. So far, 297 members of this generous community have given over $160,000 toward our $188,000 campaign goal. And this is helping us make the most of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And I don't use that phrase lightly, because the last time this property was on the market was 1964. So for me, this will be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We borrowed from our reserves to close on the property this fall, and we still haven't found sponsors for the remaining 7 acres of the property. There's still time for you to be a part of this critical investment for the future of our ministry. And our goal is to raise the remaining $28,000 by December 31st. And remember that $77,500 of matching challenge funds are on the table tonight. So every dollar we raise up to that amount will be doubled. And you can see what your donation could mean in the chart on the screen there. And any amount will be helpful, of course. So one thing I realized is at the beginning of the broadcast, I didn't mention how you could make a pledge. You can email me, ericfitz at bethlehemfarm.net. ericfitz@gmail.com will work too. Or you can text the phone number that we gave you at the start of the broadcast, which I think is also in the chat, if you have a pledge that you'd like to make during the broadcast so it can count towards the match. Okay, well, we mentioned earlier that, what's that? Oh, that's John, our donkey. I think he's letting us know that you've all just unlocked our first fundraising threshold, as we've more than passed $1,000 this evening, and I promised that you'd get a special treat. Let's take a look at our fundraising thermometer. This one's not working. Okay. So we've come up from prickly, and we're almost at lingering on the garlic scale here on our garlic thermometer. So we're getting there. Good work. And let's see what we can do the rest of the night. So because of your generosity, we've sponsored another 1/4 acre of the new property. So we're up to $13,500 plus in benefit proceeds so far. And we have less than $11,500 to go to reach our $25,000 goal for this part of the campaign, the benefit portion. So let's take a look at a special flashback from 6 years ago.
Isaiah. No, you don't say that. Isaiah.
Richard.
Getting worse.
Now we're getting camera shot.
Nah, it's pumpkin.
I can't see them.
Richard's last moments.
Can I?
Oh, Isaiah's so cute. I'd love to see a current day reenactment of that. He says no. Okay. Anyway, Eric, we really do miss Bill and Betty Mann, and we hope their example of selflessly helping neighbors every day lives on through our work, specifically our low-income home repair program.
Hi, my name is Sarah Brightfield, and I became a caretaker this May, and I serve on the projects team with Colleen, which fits my training as a civil engineer.
You might remember Sarah from a video in last year's benefit.
Right. I originally came to the farm as the Ethos intern, and I worked on the maintenance garage design. Like a lot of people, I loved my time at the farm here so much I decided to come back. I also really love exploring all the beautiful West Virginia parks and mountain biking trails in my yellow camper van. I also love watching the sunset from Billman Hill and watching the sky turn a beautiful German red. Before we tell you about this year's home repair projects, we have another door prize to award. The next prize will be a Bethlehem Farm swag bag, so you can rep the farm every day, wherever you go.
There's more.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, here we go. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Oh, congratulations, Ron Fernandez.
Nice.
You can email us at transform@bethlehemfarm.net with your address, and we will get you your swag bag.
Also, a little birdie told me that we were getting pretty close to unlocking our next special video, which has something to do with dancing chickens. So keep those donations coming.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. Well, Bethlehem Farm has been very busy this last year providing low-income home repair in our area. It's one of the primary ways we practice the cornerstone of service. We believe that welcome home means everybody should have a safe, clean, and dry home to live in. I'm Colleen. I've been a caretaker at Bethlehem Farm for over 15 years now. And in addition to working on the mission, I love to make quilts and I like to go on adventures with our kids. This summer, I stepped back into the role of coordinating home repair projects. And as the projects team, Sarah and I, we get to meet all our potential clients and we determine how we can best serve them, oftentimes collaborating whenever possible with our partner agencies. This year, we worked on 28 houses, completing a total of 113 home repair projects that improve the weatherization, accessibility, and safety of homes in our local community. And we met some great people along the way.
Impressive. One homeowner we really loved working with this year was Kelly, who's a single mom of 5 kids who recently lost their dad. We helped her find a local plumber 2 separate times to fix a pipe that was leaking severely and rotting her bathroom, not to mention racking up a huge water bill. Steve also led a group of volunteers this spring in building a fence around her yard so that her kids could have a safe place to play. Just this past month, we worked with a contractor to tear down and replace her unsafe porch. We replaced her front door, which wouldn't open and didn't have any glass, and covered her broken windows with durable plexiglass for the winter. We hope to help her renovate her bathroom next to make it safer. Ever since we started working with Kelly this spring, we have seen a major transformation take in her life, and she's experiencing a newfound sense of hope after facing many hardships.
It's true. In fact, we were just there on Thursday finishing up the windows so she wouldn't have a breeze through her house this winter. Kelly really means a lot to us. Now let's hear about even more home repair projects straight from the homeowners that we worked with this year.
They took my old steps down and put me up a handicap ramp, which I'm very, very well proud of. Now I don't have to worry about breaking my neck. And I'm tickled with everything they done. And I will call again. It makes you better on thinking what people can do for you and what they can't. And what they would do. Because a lot of people say, we're filled up, we can't do that. Or we'll be out a certain time and don't never show up. But y'all were right here when you said you'd be here. And I'm very tickled with it. And I will recommend it. Oh, it was great. I mean, they probably thought I was crazy, but because I'm always coming off with some kind of goofy remark, and it kept everybody laughing. So.
New gutters put up, new fascia behind the gutters, whatever that bottom board is. I don't remember the name of it, but it was put in spots, and a new front porch steps. Especially with the guttering and all of that, the house was starting to look really bad and run down, and not only did it make it look better, but it also prevents now water from coming back in and rotting out the outside walls of the house. So, doesn't, like I said, it just looks 100 times better. And the steps were actually falling away from the porch, so that was a safety issue, and it also makes it easier for her pups to come up and down it. And for her, I guess she's been up and down it a few times I wasn't privy to. Learned after the fact she's been up and down them, and it seems you can go up and down them okay. I don't have to grab a hold and pull up. I can walk up. Right. You like the volunteers, don't you? Yeah, I do. She likes different people coming in, and she can talk with them or just hang out with them. I had blast because I just baked my heart's content and gave it away. I had somebody to eat it all.
I have to share with y'all how grateful I am of having y'all here in our home and helping us reclaim our lives. We were confused and upset for several years trying to get assistance from another agency that was in this area working on homes, and even sent them photographs as they requested of the work that we needed done. During that entire time, we never even got a response back from them. But neighbors who repeatedly had a room added, a bathroom added, a roof put on, they were repeatedly getting services the following year and the following year. So now, retrospect, looking back, I know that God definitely, I've always known God has a plan for us, and it's for what is best for us. If those activities had have occurred like we were trying to get them done, we never would have been blessed to meet the people of Bethlehem Farm.
All the people that came through here, I mean, they have been great, and they've made us feel wonderful, and the stories and what they've been through and what they know and wanting to know what we've done to help us with the state our house was in. The basement down there, I mean, I've never seen it look so good. I truly think the house is going to be a whole lot warmer, and it looks a whole lot better. And breathing all that stuff with our health problems, it's a blessing, what y'all done so far.
Well, we definitely enjoyed working with these folks and all of our homeowners this year. As you may know, in addition to this low-income home repair program, thanks to the Wheaton Franciscan Sisters, We also offer the Green Neighbors program. This includes offering no-interest loans for the installation of solar panels on homes of people like Brooke. Brooke is a single mom of 4 kids who recently purchased a home in a small town near us. Since then, she worked hard insulating the home and making it more energy efficient in whatever way she could. When we met her on our solar site visit, she shared with us that her 2 teenagers are committed to conserving energy, impressive, and they are the lights police in her home. So that's a great start. The advocacy offered in our Green Neighbors program was really crucial for Brooke's solar upgrade, as her project got totally stuck in a paperwork no man's land at our local permitting office for weeks. No one seemed to know how to proceed, and not even the solar installing company, who should really know, possibly because solar is not super common in a small town coal country. So we buckled down. We made approximately 30 phone calls to inspectors, local permitting offices, the solar company, electricians, anybody we could think of to determine how to get Brooke's project moving forward. We were quite as happy as she was when her solar panels were finally approved, productive thanks to our persistence. She's very proud to have renewable energy for her family.
Great. Thank you to everyone all out there who are continuing to generously support us. We really appreciate it. Let's keep it going. It sounds like I hear that.
Yeah.
Thanks, John. It sounds like we might have sponsored a half acre of the new property. And look at that thermometer. It's moving up. It looks like we've unlocked our next special video. So enjoy this video of our favorite. Enjoyed that video. I sure did. Before I start, I just want to announce that Table B has now closed, so please get your last bids in for Table A. I was looking personally at that Granny's off her rocker quilt with the beautiful Chinese purples and Lahontan early whites, so I really hope whoever gets that loves it because it is beautiful. If you still want to bid on our auction, though, you can click on the QR code that is on the screen, or you can click on the link that just dropped in the chat. I'm getting ahead of myself, though, I guess. Aren't I, Steve?
Not really, but go ahead.
I should introduce myself.
Yes, please.
I'm Anna. I've been a caretaker here at the farm for a year, and I love being a home repair site leader, working in the garden, and recently serving as donkey search and rescue. I also love to take long walks around the area, including exploring the new property line.
And I'm Steve, and I recently celebrated my 4th anniversary of being a caretaker at Bethlehem Farm. And animals have always been part of the ambiance of Bethlehem Farm. I remember cows would walk over from the man farm and have a late night snack nearby the caretaker residence.
Oh,
many times it would be right outside my bedroom door. Bedroom window, I mean.
Bedroom
of course,
window.
yeah, window, not the door. That makes more sense.
That's a little concerning.
So I think it's fair to say that more animals at the farm means more farm ambiance. And Anna, would you agree that more farm ambiance is a good thing?
Oh, completely. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. So just on that note, I'll be back in a moment. Just
a sec.
I need a sec.
One
Yeah,
moment.
yeah,
Okay.
please.
I guess I will keep giving the animals update then. This year, we had 57 chickens after integrating 2 of our flocks. We had 10 beehives and 2 cats, August and October, as many of you know. And gosh, I wonder how many donkeys we have. I wish Steve was here. Where is he? So that he would know more about the current donkey status.
Yes.
Donkey.
I'm back, Anna. Yes. So as I was saying, the more animals mean more farm ambiance. That said, 5 weeks ago, 5 new community members joined us at the farm. 5 new community members.
What community members, Steve, are you talking about?
Yeah, 5 new community members joined us at the farm, and community. When I mean community members, I mean of the Jerusalem donkey variety. 2 standard donkeys and 2 miniature donkeys, and of course the miniatures stand about 30 inches tall from their shoulders.
Pretty short.
Very small and cute. Yes, and of course John, our farm community member with the longest tenure at the farm.
Impressive.
Who I must say is looking very dapper in his winter coat that he just acquired. Played a key role in welcoming the 5 new members. And I'm certain that John's big heart and charisma has been a big factor in those 5 feeling welcomed home.
You know, though, if we're not careful, our Jerusalem donkeys will hike all the way over to Peter's Mountain. We had quite the surprise on Thanksgiving morning this year. We discovered that 4 of our now 6 donkeys had wandered over the mountain to a neighbor's the previous night. At one point during the morning, we had 3 cars, 14 people, lots of snacks, and 0 cooperative donkeys trying to make their way back down Kirby Mountain Road. Even if our donkeys are prone to mischief, though, I gotta say, I've heard that they have quite a pretty unique legend, I would say. I wish I knew it off the top of my head.
Well, it's amazing that you asked that question, because I'm seeing this book here that I'd never seen before in my life, and suddenly it was here.
Just like that.
Just like that. And I think because of this book, I didn't know why it was here until just this moment.
Oh.
So let me check. And look, there's a mark.
Oh.
And guess what? I can tell you. So let me read about Jerusalem donkeys. And the legend about Jerusalem donkeys. A poor farmer near Jerusalem owned a donkey far too small to do much work at all. He felt that he couldn't afford to feed a worthless animal like this. Only that could do him no good whatsoever. So he told his family that he was going to kill the donkey.
Oh.
His children, who loved the little donkey, begged him to sell it rather than harm it. But the farmer said, "It's wrong to sell an animal that just can't do a good day's work." Then the oldest daughter suggested, "Father, tie the donkey to a tree on the road to town and say that whoever wants it may take it for nothing." And the next morning, that is what the farmer did. Soon, 2 men approached and asked if they could have the donkey. "It can carry almost nothing," the farmer warned. "Jesus of Nazareth has need of it," replied one of the men. The farmer couldn't imagine what a great teacher would want with such a useless donkey, but he handed it over. The men took the animal to Jesus, who stroked the grateful donkey's face and mounted it and rode away. So it was on that day we call Palm Sunday, Jesus led his followers into the city of Jerusalem, riding on the back of a small common donkey. The donkey so loved his gentle master that he later followed him to Calvary. Grief-stricken by the sight of Jesus on the cross, the donkey turned away, but he couldn't leave. It was then that the shadow of the cross fell upon the shoulders and back of the donkey, and there it stayed. All Jerusalem donkeys have borne the sign of the cross on their back since that very day.
That's a beautiful story, Steve.
Absolutely.
I loved hearing that. And it makes me a little bit more sympathetic to our mischievous new friends. And if you're looking for an excuse to get back out to the farm, or if you want to visit for the first time, the donkeys would love to meet you. That sounds like John.
That's John again. Yeah. Thanks, John. Way to go, folks at home. You've reached the next fundraising threshold. And I think John wants you all to know and to meet the donkeys. Let's say, show me the donkeys.
Meet the donkeys.
Henry. Look, everybody else is here. Here we go. Here we go.
Woohoo!
On the comb. Yay. Roxy, here we go. Big white pearls in the big pasture. Let's see what happens. Come out. Hall.
Welcome!
Here's Henry. Here's Nakia. Jack. And Roxy. Yay. And there's John in the distance. Wondering what's going on.
The Italian Christmas donkey, la 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 la.
I sure won't forget that anytime soon.
Wow.
Having donkeys is kind of like having a bunch of giant Siberian Huskies as pets. When I found out the donkeys had escaped, my face turned straight up burgundy. I can guarantee you that. I suspect that John let them out. Did you see him steaming in the video?
Well, you know, John and I had a talk about that incident, and he convinced me that he had absolutely nothing to do with it.
Nothing at all.
He actually alluded to the word amateurs. And when John goes out joyriding late at night, he knows two things. He knows to be discreet, and he knows to come back before sunrise. Yes.
Either way, I'm still a little suspicious, but I guess he is part of the farm community, longest tenure and all that.
Yes.
So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But speaking of community, that's actually one of the cornerstones here at Bethlehem Farm. And it's been such a blessing to us, not only in just helping us get our donkeys back, you know, but in all the work that we've done this year. We're so glad to have community nights back up and running this summer. Sharing live music and good food with our neighbors and people we work with in the area is something that's particularly special to all of us.
Yes.
Our community extends beyond the physical space of where the farm is located, though. Folks from Noblesville, Indiana, have gotten together tonight for a watch party in support of this event. So let's head to Noblesville, virtually, of course,
yes.
and see what some of our farm community is up to.
Hi! Donate to the farm!
Yeah. All right. Oh, it looks like so much fun, y'all there. Hey.
Thanks for joining in.
Yeah, thanks for watching and thanks for supporting us. We really appreciate you all.
We do. I hope to see you soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
At the farm sometime.
Thank you. Donate to the farm.
We'd also like to thank all the members of the community that have taken on the spirit of welcome home. Many of our neighbors have welcomed Bethlehem Farm folks into their homes. Let's hear from Ann Brown about the way she does just that.
I've been thinking about that. I was real excited to be part of what you're doing. And I was trying to think how I can convey to the people watching this how their being part of the farm and the mission of the farm, they become a blessing to us out here who have the farm down the road. And I was thinking, there was a couple weeks ago, I got a call from Eric, and like many people around here, I've been very overwhelmed. It's just been a very difficult growing season. It's a horrible political season. Everything is uproar. And Eric was looking for potatoes for a client. And she couldn't find any around her because nobody had grown potatoes. So he knows I grow potatoes, and I would have willingly given him potatoes. I didn't have any. But I knew somebody at the farmer's market, because I grow for market, who had potatoes. So I said, well, let me see what I can do. Give me her name. So I called the lady to find out what she wanted, and she had $20 that she could spend on potatoes. That's it. That's what she had. So I went to the market, and there was one vendor who had potatoes for sale. That's how bad the growing season has been here. And I basically said, okay, give me $20 of potatoes. And the potatoes, Lord have mercy, $2.50 a pound? I couldn't believe it. So it was like, this isn't enough. So I said, well, give me another 10 pounds. And went home and called the lady and said, I've got potatoes for you. And she said, okay. I said, I need directions. And she said, well, I'm just over in Monroe. So I started driving, and I drove, and I drove, and I drove. And I thought, this must be out where the Lord lost his sandals. I mean, it's just... And then I stopped chattering in my brain and just looked. I had to pull over and stop. Because what I saw was so beautiful. Just, oh my God, so beautiful. I mean, even now remembering it, it was like, boom. It's like, hey girl, you have not been paying attention. I got so involved in my own bleh, and I just sat there and let it wash over me, this incredible beauty. Got to her house, and there was this, and I'm laughing as I'm saying this little old lady, about my age, right? This little old lady sitting on a porch like a queen, and got up and came out, and basically we hugged, which West Virginia mountain women don't go around hugging strangers, you know? But it was just, there was magic. And she started talking about the porch that Bethlehem Farm had built for her. And she showed me all of the details and talked about the kids who did it and talked about how she felt when she sat on her porch. Woo! My heart just opened, you know, and I gave her the potatoes, and we ended up talking for about 45 minutes, which is, you know, originally my thing was make the delivery, get home, get back to work, try to catch up. And finally, it really was time for me to go, so I drove back. And I drove back real slowly, because normally, if I can do 60 on the roads, I do. I drove back real slowly and just let the beauty of it wash over me. And I got home, and instead of hitting the road and working, I sat down on this porch that Bethlehem Farm made for me. And I let it all sink in, and I thought, isn't it amazing? These people, these Bethlehem Farm people, and you people out there who are encouraging, supporting, uplifting, helping, what an incredible blessing. I mean, because of a phone call from Eric, I got connected by the loving kindness that Bethlehem Farm connects people with. I met a lady who was also blessed with a porch to sit on so that she could look out and just enjoy the gift of being here. And that whole circle, that whole day that interrupted my blah, blah, blah in my brain and got me back in touch with God, it started with Bethlehem Farm. So, anybody out there who wonders if you're really making a contribution to the world, if you support the mission, if you support the people, in whatever way, prayers, money, work, whatever you do that supports this mission, you are a blessing in my life and the lives of all kinds of people you will never meet. And that is how we conquer hatred. Connecting people with loving kindness. So, that's where I'm at with Bethlehem Farm right now.
Thank you, Anne, for sharing your heart with us. You're a true gift to us. And we also thank all of you out there for bidding on our auction. It is, I believe, closed at this point, and you can check on your winnings. We have also some other folks we'd like to thank for the planning and execution of this event. We want to thank the watch party hosts for welcoming home any farm folks in your area. We want to thank everybody who donated the awesome items for our auction. Thank you to High Rocks Academy for allowing us to use this space to be able to share our past year with all of you. We want to thank the board members on the benefit committee. That is Tim Shovlin, Brent Fernandez, Lauren LaCoy, and Brenna Davis. Shout out to Brenna for running the program behind the scenes, our tech queen. We'd also like to thank the Alderson Hospitality House for graciously allowing us to use their way better than the farm's Wi-Fi so we could plan this event. And we thank you for attending. We really look forward each year for this chance to reconnect with people. And thank you for being generous. Our love for you burns hotter than a blazing Georgian fire. All right, let's hear from one of our board members, Catch, who has some more folks to thank. Hey, Brenna, play Catch.
Good evening, everyone. I hope that you're enjoying tonight's event. My name is Andrew Ketchum, and I have the privilege of serving as a board member for Bethlehem Farm. On behalf of the entire Bethlehem Farm board, I'd like to extend thanks and recognition to some of the many people who gave to this mission in special ways over the past year. First off, thank you to everyone for joining us this evening. Thank you to the caretaker community and my fellow board members for your continued work towards the mission and community of Bethlehem Farm. Thank you to the Wheaton Franciscan Sisters, the Sisters of the Presentation of Dubuque, Iowa, grants from the Eckstein Charitable Trust, the Raskob Foundation for Catholic Activities, Sisters of St. Joseph, Housing Assistant Council in partnership with the Home Depot Foundation, Helen Brock Foundation, the Cook Foundation, the Blanche M. Walsh Charity Trust, United Way of the Greenbrier Valley, Dominican Sisters of Peace, Hallowell Dawkins Foundation, ABVI, Our Lady of Grace Catholic Church in Noblesville, Indiana, St. Catherine of Siena Church in Ronceverte, West Virginia, and the Pat and Patty Crowley Fund. In addition, we want to thank a number of folks for the generous support from many families. And my apologies in advance if I mispronounce any of your names. Thank you in advance for your grace. Thank you to the following families for your support: the Ament, Moran, Buck, Markells, Murray, Carney, Fitz, McNellis, Hannock, Valenzuela, Lavoie and White, Ruggaber, Hayner, Hoffman Barnes, Archwell, Artmeyer, Asmuth, Berglinger, Berkeley Salinas, Brady Faddis, Brame, Shirley Strom, Camo, Denyo, Gufek, Erdman, Goudreau, Grady, Gradanus, Harkness, Hasselhorst, Hellman Pichon, Hofer, Ikes, Hars, Ketchum, Knapp, Kraus, Krumdrick, Kubaki, Marassi, Matthews, Mayhew, Mitchell, Mato, Messerham, Pryboy, Rasa, Rebelar, Riley, Rust, Saul, Snidel Scott, Schaefer, Schoutenkempf, Sharp, Sims, Simon, Smith, Steicher, Stozer, Sutter, Tietgen, Timmons, Tracy, Urban, and Weber and Whalen families, as well as from Steve Demarias, John Hannigan, Trisha Lally, Catherine Lesser, Kathleen Pohl, Mark Slane, Claire Sofranos, and several anonymous donors. Thank you so much for your continued support in service of our mission. In addition, thank you to anyone who contributed to the Man Farm campaign, including gifts in memory of Sylvia Hofer, in memory of Talon Loudon, and in memory of Bob, Mike, Tom, Joe, and Kathy Buck Murray. Thank you for gifts in memory of Bill and Betty Mann, Gary Karinsky, Lynn Gradanis, Squiggles, and John and Michael Wright. Thank you to our monthly donors and to everyone who contributes time, talent, and treasure to support Bethlehem Farm. Thank you to Nazareth Farm and Jerusalem Farm for their ongoing support and companionship in our mission. And thank you again to everyone for your continued support, for your presence this evening, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening and a blessed Advent.
Got it. Thanks, Catch. Next, I get to announce the winner of our fourth and final door prize. This lovely lap quilt, made by my quilting buddy, Liana. Maybe you saw this quilt in an email, modeled by Pappy, sitting by the fire with a silver white twinkle in his eyes. Okay, Jenna, you ready?
Yes. And the winner is Tom Ruggeberg.
Oh.
Congratulations, Tom. You can email us at transform@bethlehemfarm.net with your address, and we'll get you your lap quilt.
Okay, at this point in the evening, we want to update you on how much we've raised. Drum roll, please. All right. Okay, we have raised a total of over $20,200 for the entire benefit campaign. That's amazing. We surpassed Lingering and went straight past Zippy and just went above Sharp. So our $25,000 goal is in reach. Thank you so much. If you'd like to join us for that final push, you can continue to give by scanning the QR code that might cover my face right now. We'll see. Or clicking on the link in the chat. There it is. Okay. Or the video description.
We're so grateful to all our community members and neighbors.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure. Okay. Oh, no, it was John. John just told us we made it to another fundraising threshold. Thank you so much, folks at home.
Because of your generosity, we now have sponsored 2 acres of the new property, and we're going to let you in on some of our garlic intel. You may or may not have heard, but the Bethlehem Farm has been conducting a thorough study to find out which garlic strain is the best. Some considerations that went into determining the best garlic include ease of peeling, storage length, taste, best name, which you may have voted for on our social media polls. To hear more about the data we collected and to help you memorize the names of the strains, we have a catchy tune for you, with apologies to Billy Joel. But first, the winner of the best overall garlic strain is, another drum roll please, Canadian music! Woo!
You're going to see it soon. We're keeping you waiting. It's happening. Just wait. Yep.
Garlic.
There we go. Oh.
Yes.
Early white, Asian tennis full of night, Henry, Miriam, romaine, red, young, Bethlehem meets garlic, gulps it down real quick, German red face turkey, Italian fire face turkey, caretaker Molly wants to see anarchy, Isaiah and Claire, Chinese purple in the air, Holly, Medea, search and rescue Anna, Thomas, Curry, Casey, Roxy in the garlic sea, we always plant the garlic. It was always growing since the world's been going. We always plant the garlic. No spice can beat it, yeah, we're gonna eat it. Leningrad, Red Talk, Mini, Transylvania, and Eric's remedies, they are their ancient memories. Luca Rose is hard to peel, Peter's Mountain tastes like eel, Elephant Stores, Pennsylvanian sports fast. Bogatir, no flame, Burgundy's a stupid name, Georgian Fire, best thing, what else do I have to say? We always plant the garlic. It was always growing since the world's been going. We always plant the garlic. No spice can beat it. Yeah, we're gonna eat it. Russian red Pandora, Jenna, Stephen, Sarah, German hardneck, donkeys out, big check, Sheldon, red, the rod of fast, but market and dead last, apples work Italian, silver, white, Siberian, garlic, hot, dressed in white, jacket, oh, the New York white, brown, type, scarlet, red, and chili, red, Canadian music tastes best, tastes and pagan champion, Georgian fire, flaming tongue, I can't take it anymore, we always plant the garlic. It was always growing since the world's been going. We always plant the garlic. No spice can beat it, yeah, we're gonna eat it. We always plant the garlic. It was always growing since the world's been going. We ate some Georgian fire, and we are on our tongue will burn on and on and on and on and on.
Thank you all for humoring us with all of our garlic puns tonight and supporting us in our mission. Here are a few ways that you can help us after tonight ends. Since we can't trade garlic for tools, we need your help in running our low-income home repair program and all the work that we do back at the farm. If you'd like to make a donation to our general mission, you can scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the chat to donate. Or if you want to donate more than once, you can become a monthly donor. And if you become a monthly donor or up your existing monthly donation before the end of the year, I will paint you a watercolor and mail it to your home. So consider that. And it's not just your treasurer that you can donate. Please come join us for a group week or invite your church or school to join us. This mission is easier to accomplish and so much more fun with many hands. And a link to the group week calendar is in the event description below. And we're always looking for summer servants and caretakers to join us in our work.
Applications can be found on our website under the Community tab. All these links can be found in the description below. And now I invite you to take a deep breath and join me in a closing prayer. Loving God, we gather together in thanksgiving to celebrate the tremendous and abundant gifts in our lives. As we move through this Advent season, may we prepare our hearts to recognize the remarkable in the everyday. Mary and Joseph followed the call to travel to Bethlehem when it was inconvenient and dangerous. When there was no room at the inn, the animals offered hospitality in their humble stable. Though they had never met, shepherds and magi traveled from afar to welcome home the Christ Jesus. Angels sang of new life in this quiet, unremarkable corner of Bethlehem. May we embrace service as Mary and Joseph did, humbly carrying out our call, especially when it requires personal sacrifice. May we embrace community, following the example of the animals, opening our hearts to welcome home neighbors and strangers alike. May we embrace simplicity, coming as we are with open hands to offer ourselves and all that we have as gift to one another, as the Magi and shepherds did. May we embrace prayer, heeding the joyful call of the angels, proclaiming the good news with song and dance and laughter. Prepare our hearts, O God, to welcome you home, so that we may be vessels of your transformative love. We pray all this in your name. Amen.
Amen. The Caretaker community echoes the board's thanks to everyone who joined us tonight to remember our stories. And what hopeful stories they are. They speak to the power of living by the gospel cornerstones. They speak to the deep meaning found when seeking transformation through giving ourselves in service. These stories speak to the importance of caring for creation and preserving a livable climate for our kids. And they have really filled me with hope. They speak to the deep longing we have to receive and share welcome home, both here on our common home and in our heavenly one. Thank you all once again for joining us tonight. Have a good night and a blessed Advent. Night, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Those I came across.